You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Welcome to Chamber Chat. I am one of your hosts, Courtney Galley, the Director of Special Events for the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Brian Bondi, President of the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce.
Each month, guests are brought on to talk about what is happening in the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. We get the inside scoop of our members, what they do, and what has made their company successful. We also chat about upcoming events and programs the Chamber is hosting. The Chamber is a nonprofit 501c6 organization and is designated as a 3-star accredited chamber by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The mission of the Chamber is to promote and advocate for businesses in the Conroe Lake Conroe area. I hope you have your cup of coffee because we have a great lineup this morning.
Wow, it's been a long time since we've heard that one.
Well,
For me.
we were just talking about that. I think Ashley and I did March.
Okay, all right. But
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
But that was 2 months ago.
Yeah, it's weird.
Nothing, yeah.
It still kind of feels like April, but I guess it is May. It's May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo, for
yeah,
sure.
Cinco de Mayo, yeah.
But doing Chamber Chat means that things are slowly getting back to normal.
Yeah, it's my first official day back in the office.
How does it feel? Is it kind of weird?
It's weird, but it feels good. It's just so quiet, you know?
It's very quiet.
But yeah, it's a little weird, but it does feel good. It didn't feel good waking up at 6:30 this morning because y'all know I'm not a morning person, but I was very happy to kind of be back in the land of the living.
Yes, I called it shock and awe when I pulled up this morning and you were already here. Like, wow.
Well, I had that 8 o'clock Zoom meeting. That's probably the only reason why. And then I figured on my first day back, I should be on time.
It's good to see you. Glad you're back.
Yes, me too.
Trying to get things going. You know,
Yes.
May is, we're sticking with our digital events, which we'll get to a little bit later in the show, but we're certainly looking forward to June and July and getting things back to things that we like to do and that people like to do with us.
Yeah, it does seem weird because there's just not everybody's back yet. So
That's true.
You know, I think once we kind of everybody gets back and there'll be some sense of, I guess, normalcy, but it's a little weird. It's kind of like feels like a Saturday, you know, or some, you know, where there's not everybody around, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really cool to see cars in downtown Conroe parked because there was a time a couple weeks ago where this was a ghost town down here. And, you know, businesses are reopening.
Yep.
Folks are starting to exchange dollars. And, it's going to be some tough times, but that's what we're here for. We're here to help.
Very glad that we're on that way. So
yeah.
Hope it stays that way too.
Me too. So we're going to have a couple of guests today talking about things that are going on in the community. And, you know, the nice thing about that is even though we're going to be calling them and talking to them, it'll be like they're live and in here in the studio.
Yeah.
And at some point, very soon, we hope we'll go back to in-studio visits.
Yeah, I think so too. Y'all are like the first people I've seen in person in a while. I was telling Dick that I hadn't been inside a store in over 40 days.
That's weird.
Or with people. I've just been me. I mean, I've seen people because I've been walking around my apartment complex and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. I didn't feel a need to have to go. I mean, okay, Brian knows this too. You know, I do the HEB pickup or whatever. And I usually do like Target pickup and stuff like that. I just didn't feel a need to like have to go in, you know, just to limit my interactions. But it's not the same. And Zoom calls aren't the same. And FaceTime's not the same.
Nope. But it's better than nothing.
Yes.
Which a few years ago, that's what it would have been, was nothing.
Oh, my God.
It would have been
Think
really
about
bizarre.
this without technology?
Yeah, think about it.
Oh, my, no way.
So.
No way.
Yeah, I think my cousin sent me it was an article that was on Facebook about, you know, our grandfather was born in 1898. So he lived through the Spanish flu pandemic, right?
Yep.
He lived through
the Great Depression,
World War I, the Great Depression, through World War II, through the Cuban Missile Crisis,
right?
Through the Korean and Vietnam Wars.
Oh my gosh.
And we're living through this like it's the end of the earth.
Yeah.
So the reality is that generations that have come before us have survived, and we can survive and get better as a result of this.
Yeah. I just think that it's just so, I don't know. I've been indifferent about stuff like right before, you know, we decided to kind of, you know, do the stay at home or shelter in place, whatever. I remember talking to John and going, no, I can't stay at home. Like, this is just ridiculous. It's stupid. They can't make us do this. And then once you get into, you kind of like ease your mind into it. I do think that it definitely helped. I mean, I hope it did help. It seemed like it did help.
Exactly.
And you just, you adjust to it. But yeah, if you think about it on that scale, it's kind of like, you kind of feel a little silly. But I do think that hopefully these measures have helped. And I mean, you don't know because you don't, nobody has a glass ball. Right.
That's right.
But, yeah, it's just the weird is the only way I can describe. I think everybody can describe it. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's a totally different time, and people are using the line the new normal, whatever that
is. Yeah.
So we're going to get a little bit of inside information. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Matt Davis, who is the CEO of HCA Houston Healthcare Conroe. And stay tuned; it'll be well worth the time. We'll be right back.
A Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
And welcome back to Chamber Chat on Lone Star Community Radio. I am one of your hosts, Courtney Galley, the Director of Special Events for the Conroe Chamber.
And Brian Bondi, President of the Conroe Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us. It's great to be back in studio here at Lone Star Community Radio and visiting. And we have a very special guest with us, the CEO of HCA Houston Healthcare Conroe, Matt Davis. You're on the air with us. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you all?
Good, Matt.
So you guys probably haven't been very busy. You don't have anything going on. You probably had your feet up on your desk for a few weeks, just relaxing, right?
Of course.
So tell us about some of the things that HCA Houston Healthcare Conroe has been doing during these last 6 weeks to help people feel at ease during these crazy times.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, first of all, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys. It's been a tumultuous 6 weeks, that's for sure. Everything has changed. Realistically, when you start to look at what we're doing in the hospitals and with regards to safety and security of our employees and our physicians and our patients, this pandemic has really taken a hold of what we do, both from an infection control perspective as well as the safety and security. We spent the first part of it really re-engineering a lot of our processes for the safety, extended safety of our visitors, so to speak, whether it be universal masking programs or universal screening programs. We're now temperature gauging all of our employees when they come into the facility, really distributing mass amounts of PPE, quite frankly, to both our employees and to our visitors for their safety.
Wow. So anecdotally, maybe you can address this. I'm hearing that as a result of the pandemic, there are people that actually need care that are actually afraid to come into the hospital to get care. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, it's one of our biggest fears right now is that individuals are avoiding healthcare facilities, not just mine, all of them, in times of need. And I can't stress enough that the hospitals are safe. The staffs at the hospitals are really putting extensive time and effort into making sure our visitors are safe. And we're seeing individuals show up at our facilities, my facility specifically, with really advanced care needs that probably wouldn't have been as acute if they would have come in maybe a week earlier or 2 weeks earlier. So that's sort of the second wave of issues that we're seeing from this pandemic, not only the individuals that are sick from the virus, but now we're seeing the secondary aspect of it, of where individuals are coming in and they're sicker than they probably need to be or could have been if they would have come in a little sooner.
Oh, that's something. So talk to us about your amazing staff, these frontline workers that have been there through thick and thin. That's quite a calling when you get right down to it. How has the team responded to the stresses of what's been going on?
Yeah, I think the morale in the healthcare workforce is good, and actually I'd probably call it great. And I attribute a lot of that to just that calling of what they've been called to do, and this is their time that they love, and they're scared. Absolutely, fear is one of the biggest things we had to overcome at the beginning of this. But they're really proud of the work they're doing. They're appreciative of everything that the community is doing for them. I can't thank the community enough for the level of support and thank you that they're providing our frontline workers, whether it be our doctors or our nurses, our therapists, our techs, all across the board. It's just amazing the amount of support that the community has given them. Whether it be the donation of food from the restaurants or whether it be the thank yous from the first responders that did the thank you parade, or I've learned today that the Blue Angels will be doing a flyover tomorrow through our area.
That's cool.
And it's something that's just, it's really neat to see. But the overall morale across the board has been very, very good. But I don't want to minimize our healthcare workers' fear because, it's real. They're taking care of something that is different, and there is fear. And so we're trying hard to stay on top of that and really make sure that our employees are taken care of.
So Matt, I don't know if you could answer this question or not, but do you feel like I'm going to give you a hardball? Do you feel like the stay-at-home order helped minimize our exposure in the county?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think I've been a very vocal individual on this. I think that we could have probably, as a community and whatnot, maybe done a little bit better of a job on the stay-at-home order with regards to, as well as I do, when you go amongst the community, some people take it more serious than others.
Yeah.
And I think that the order did help, and I think it did help us slow down the spread of the disease. But we're still at our peak right now, and I don't want people to get sort of a false sense of security because we're starting to open things up, because we're still seeing it in our facilities and in our community. Now, you see ebbs and flows of it, but we're still very much in the middle of this fight, and I just encourage people to stay cognizant of that. And I'm no different than anybody else. I love to get out and get my walks in and get out in the and get out in the community, but at the same point we have to take the social distancing serious, and we have to fight through this right now.
Yeah.
So maybe a follow-up to that, Matt, as a healthcare professional, just your opinion, are we opening up too soon, or is this something that makes sense at this point?
Gosh, I'm not an armchair quarterback, and we take we follow leadership and we move forward. And I made a comment in an interview a couple of weeks ago. It's a sort of a waste of time to look backwards. Everything that we have to deal with is in front of us, and we really need to hunker down. And the reality of it is whether I think we opened up too soon or whether we opened up at the right time or whether we opened up too slowly, it really doesn't matter because we've got patients to take care of, and I just hope everybody takes care of themselves and really follows the orders and follows the signs and symptoms and gets health care when they need it. And I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Great point.
So I have another question, Matt. I've seen a lot of stuff since in the past, 6 weeks, 40 days, especially on social media with people comparing COVID-19 to the flu. To me, it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges. But as a healthcare professional, kind of what's your opinion or expertise on that? Because I think that's a big issue from people. It's like, well, it's not. Everybody gets the flu. I just think that I would like to kind of hear it from somebody who's in the thick of things.
Sure, I'm not a physician and I'm not a clinician by any stretch of any type. But when I look at it, I think the biggest difference is we don't have a vaccine or we don't have any medicines for this.
Yeah.
And that is the simplest difference. The flu shot is a sample of the different strains that may hit. And so you're minimizing your risk by getting a flu shot. We don't have a COVID shot to minimize your risk. And we don't have Tamiflu on the backside of the disease to help to sort of help you get through the flu or help you get through the COVID. We don't have anything like that for COVID. And so I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Clinically, they're a bit different. We're seeing the virus really attack the elderly, just as it does with the flu. So there's similarities there. But I think the simplest way of looking at it is the fact there's no immunization and no medicine out there for it.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, when we first started talking, you mentioned some of the protocols that are in place at the hospital there. Tell us about implementing those protocols and why people that were listening here should have complete confidence, whether they're going into your hospital or any hospital for that matter, with confidence.
Well, I think complete confidence is a tough one because that assumes that we're doing 100% of the things right all the time, and I think that's a bold statement for anyone to make. We strive for that, but the confidence level I think should be there. We're screening all individuals that come in, and as long as the people that we're screening are honest with their signs and symptoms at the door and are honest with us, then we're in good. One of the things that we've seen is we've had a couple people that have visited with us that ended up, maybe not so clear cut on the signs and symptoms that they've been having. And then we come to find out that, hey, they might be a little more at risk than what we were expecting. Yeah. But when you start to put in screening processes in place and you start to put in a universal masking program in place and you're really identifying individuals, you really can lower the risk of transmission in your facility. I think the reality of it is we have individuals in our community that are healthy carriers that are asymptomatic and are carrying the disease, and you're just not going to. You're not going to be able to catch those individuals in the community, and that's part of what the social distancing does and the masking programs do is to help sort of mitigate that type of risk as well.
Yeah.
So we see the number of testing places that are starting to be available, whether it's in Montgomery County or elsewhere. Is there a targeted group that really needs to be tested like right away, or is it if you just feel like you're coming down with something? I don't know. Is there a way to quantify that?
Well, I think you get into the question more about asymptomatic testing versus symptomatic testing.
Yeah.
And, I don't know where I stand necessarily on asymptomatic testing because I haven't received any update on the availability of tests.
Yeah.
I think I think the availability of tests has really created a question about who should be tested and who shouldn't, and when they should be tested. Symptomatic testing, absolutely. I believe in that. We're moving to certain aspects of the CDC are supporting, symptom analysis on whether you're positive or not. You should be confident this is COVID, and there's really no need for tests because we know you have COVID. What's the test going to do? But tell you, there's discussions around that. But I believe in the symptomatic testing. Asymptomatic testing, if we start asymptomatic testing everybody out there just because they want to have a test, we need to make sure that we have ample supply of the test to meet the needs of the healthcare facilities across the city to be able to test individuals that are sick and need that aspect of the testing. We also are testing all of our individuals that come in now for elective surgeries. And so you start to think about individuals that need to get a surgery, whether it be for, moderately elective versus moderately emergent. Those individuals need to be tested to protect not only themselves, but protect the caregivers around them due to the sort of aerosolizing procedure that is going on, aerosolizing procedures that are going on. We need to protect those employees around them.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So one of the things that seems to have been lost in the discussion is the fact that while this has been going on and has all the media attention that it has accomplished, but there's still people that have heart disease, that have cancer, that have diabetes, that have other significant health issues, and yet we're really not hearing about those people and the care that they need to be getting and should be getting. Is there anything there that we need to be telling folks about? Hey, just make sure you're still doing the things that you need to be doing to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of those individuals that have chronic-based disease patterns are very good about monitoring their disease and taking care of themselves. And we've seen physician offices move to telemedicine where they're able to reach out to their employees, reach out to their constituents or their patients. My phone is dying, so I need to get it plugged in here real quick.
We don't want to lose you.
It just threw me off. It threw me off there when it made the noise that said, "Hey, you need to plug yourself in right now." But those individuals in the community have done a good job of using telemedicine to take care of themselves. But some of those individuals are the ones I was talking about earlier that are coming in, especially with patients with diabetes and heart failure and whatnot. And those disease patterns take hold of them a little bit if they're not taking care of themselves. And so I just strongly encourage individuals to continue their path of taking good care of themselves and seeking health care when they need it, and not being afraid to visit their local urgent care or local emergency department or their primary care. Those hospitals and those facilities, us included, obviously, are there for those patients.
Yeah, good point.
It's important that they're not afraid to seek that care out. We've done a great job, and I can speak for my organization, and I'm assuming that the other organizations amongst the community are the exact same in their diligence. But I can speak for HCA. We've done a great job of really designated care zones inside of our facility for those individuals who not only are COVID positive, but are what we call persons under investigation, and they're separate and distinct in their care in the facility. And we've got paths in our facility that allow individuals to not have to cross the paths of those individuals who are in those categories. So when I talked a little bit about reorganizing our hospital at the beginning of this,
right,
that's a big component of what we did is really re-operationalize our entire hospital to meet the demands of this virus and this pandemic.
Yeah. I think, to me, one thing that probably seems like it would change would be the telemedicine stuff. Like, I see kind of maybe seeing more of that in the future too, just to continue on. I mean, because I think it's so convenient for patients, at least. So,
yeah, I think some of the limitations and requirements, or more of the requirements for telemedicine, have been lifted during this time.
Yeah.
I think you still have some aspects of the telemedicine program that are going to have to be looked at. I'm a firm believer you can't change the face-to-face, hands-on experience of meeting with your physician.
Yeah.
But telemedicine does provide a great solution for certain scenarios. But I think it's going to have to be worked into our normal care model in the future.
Yeah. Be something different for sure.
Hey, how fortunate are we in Montgomery County to also have the Montgomery County Hospital District kind of have our back when it comes to EMS and those type of specialized services?
Yeah, I'm. You've heard me speak before. I'm a huge fan of MCHD, and I think that we are fortunate in Montgomery County to have probably one of the best EMS organizations in the state, if not the nation. I just think that they do a fabulous job from the leadership all the way down to the individuals that are out on the streets taking care of everybody. I just think it's a great organization, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone in our community that didn't say the exact same thing. They just do a really, really good job.
It's cool to have partner organizations that are that strong. It helps you guys do your job when they get there, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're going to wrap up here. Any last words for our listeners to chew on as we continue to move forward in the COVID crisis?
I just said be safe. You don't underestimate the power of social distancing, and don't get a false sense of security that because we're opening up our economy, which I support, that we still don't need to be diligent, and we still don't need to take care of ourselves. I have 5 children. All of them play travel sports, baseball, and they're all out of it, but still they've got plenty of time in their life to play that. And right now it's important that we hunker down and really take the battle to this virus and win, because it could last for a long time if we don't.
Yep.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, love that message.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. So we've been visiting with Matt Davis, who's the CEO of HCA Houston Healthcare Conroe. Matt, thanks a lot for your time. I know you're a busy guy, so we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Be good.
All right, take care.
Thanks. We'll be back with Chamber Chat with our next guest in a few moments on Lone Star Community Radio.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids are removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
This is Rick, TRC. Every Tuesday on my show, Afternoons with Lone Star from 3 to 7, I play back-to-back classic rock hits. That's right. I like to call it a 2 for Tuesday or a 3 for whatever it is you'd like. Call the request line 936-647-3776 or message me on Facebook, Afternoons with Lone Star, make a music request. That's right, you can do it. Here's what else. Go over to our website, irlonestar.com. Get the app on your phone. It's easy. You'll like it.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available in Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
For those of you who like your partners, your gumbo, and your music salty, well, we're here to help with the music. Julian Shea here, host of Lone Star Country Nights Thursday, your weekly dose of roots and Americana and all the music that makes this part of the country special. We stir in Western swing, honky-tonk, Zydeco, Texas blues, outlaw country, and put a pinch of red dirt, and then we smoke it over a slow fire. Then listen to the results Thursday nights on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
And welcome back to Chamber Chat on Lone Star Community Radio. My name is Brian Bondi. I'm president of the Conroe Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined with
Courtney Galley. I'm the director of special events for the Conroe Chamber of Commerce.
We were just talking at the break. If you think back to back in the early part of the year when we got sick, it is almost like that was a precursor of what was to come.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah. We both had the flu like at the end of February.
I
I remember
yep.
because I left the Go Texan parade. I was like, I feel like crud. So we're just talking to maybe we had a mild case of it because I don't know. That's what my gut says.
I mean, at the end of the day, we've been fortunate to recover.
Yeah.
And obviously losing lives is extremely sad. And that's why, Matt was saying, look, take precautions, be safe. This isn't a joke. This is the real deal.
Right.
Certainly, proceed with caution, but proceed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at today.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier too about, staying at home and stuff like that. And I felt like, well, you know what? I mean, I have the opportunity just to stay at home and, and do those kinds of things. And, getting DoorDash and Grubhub and all that kind of stuff wasn't, and grocery pickup wasn't new to me. So it wasn't like I was experiencing something, different by doing that.
Right.
And I kind of just felt like, you know what, I can do it. I can stay out of the stores, I can do my part. And that's just kind of what I felt like for me, that was my individual choice. And I know everybody has their own choices, but that was something I knew I could do. So
the other thing that Matt pointed out was the importance of social distancing.
Yes.
When a healthcare professional says this stuff works,
yeah,
we need to pay attention to those kinds of things.
Definitely.
And so, if you're still ordering food for delivery or pickup, you can check out the Chamber's website at conroe.org. We have our latest updated restaurant listing with shops that are open for dine-in as well as carry-out.
Yeah, and that's updated pretty much daily. So check that out every day. So because it's always so fluid, it changes all the time. So.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing that I will go ahead and announce is that the Chamber also has a jobs page. So if you're an employer, and we've heard all about the unemployment claims, but the reality is there's companies that are starving for people.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have over 20. We just updated it today because I got an email about. Oh gosh, it's gonna escape me now who has openings, but I mean, it may not be the job you want, but there are jobs out there.
There are jobs out there, and
Yeah.
and some of them have pretty darn good pay. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth checking out. And that's also at the Chamber's website at conroe.org.
Yep.
All right, want to bring on our next guest?
Yeah.
Here we are.
Oh.
You want to do an intro?
Oh, well, sure. It's going to be Jennifer. Dick's like, come on, people.
Help me out here. Throw me a bone.
Jennifer Allen. How are you, Jennifer?
Great. How are you guys?
I'm good. Is Jimmy with you?
Yes, I have Judge Jimmy Edwards here with me. We're practicing safe social distancing.
That's a good thing. Hey, Judge, how are you this morning?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Thanks for joining us on Chamber Chat.
Yes. Well, y'all tell a little bit about the organization y'all are representing.
Sure. So we are part of the Montgomery County Veterans Memorial Commission. And so if you are familiar with the park that is at the corner of I-45 and 105, that's us. So what we're doing is we are moving the old war memorial that's in front of the tax office, and we are moving it to the park. And so it's a huge project that has different phases. And so currently we've got Victory Row, we've got the various flags. What would you like to add, Judge?
As people come by there at that intersection, it was previously referred to as, say, the water park or fountain park.
Right.
Yeah.
And working with the city and with the county and with the state of Texas, especially the state, because that property belongs to the state, they agreed, and also through an act of the legislature, to create the Montgomery County Veterans Memorial Commission and the location of a new park. And that's where it is. So when you go by now, you see all the service flags, the fountain, of course, the sign, what we call the memorial monument that says Montgomery County Veterans Memorial Park. Go by now, you see a lot of construction on the south end. That is a bridge that's going to accommodate everybody walking into the memorial from the library parking lot and from the underneath I-45 where you can park also. The city of Conroe is footing the expense of that bridge. It's designed to carry multiple people and also 2 golf carts fully loaded. And this is what the memorial will be. And we are really very excited. It's been about a 3-year project. We deal with a lot of agencies. You have to deal with FEMA, Army Corps of Engineers, the Federal Department of Highway Transportation, the Army Corps of Engineers, the City of Conroe, Montgomery County, and the state of Texas, and TxDOT. So everybody's got an interest in that particular area. Then we have the commission, but we have had tremendous support from all the different agencies. We have to check the boxes and cross the T's and dot the I's for them, but we've had complete cooperation. And the Legislative Act, Senate Joint Resolution 56, passed by Brandon Creighton and Will Metcalf, has certainly helped also.
You bet. So I just got to ask, what role does FEMA have in this process? That one kind of surprised me. The other ones all made sense, but FEMA kind of caught me off guard.
The park lies in the floodplain, and Alligator Creek is in the floodplain.
Yep, that makes
And
sense.
the Army Corps of Engineers, the tributaries in Alligator Creek are part of the navigational waters of the state of Texas.
I'll be darned. Okay, well there you have it. That's something we learned here on the show.
Yeah, right. I had the same question. I was like, I don't think that fits.
So, how difficult is it when you are moving a monument from one site where it's traditionally been to another site? Do you have to deal with like personalities that are struggling with that, or has it been pretty universal from the beginning?
It has been pretty universal from the beginning. The President War Memorial Park was began in 1972 by local residents here in Conroe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's changed some in 76. And when I was county judge in 86, we redid it. It was redone again in 94, 95, and then redone again in 2008.
Okay.
And so it is transitioned. The problem is it has no accessibility, does not meet ADA. It needs work. And at one time when it was first here, there wasn't any traffic. You could park along Phillips, and there was no issues. Now, the visibility is small, and the accessibility is small, and it needs to be more visible. And you can't get any more visible than the intersection of 105 and I-40.
Very true.
That is exactly right. So
we've had people from all across the state and different counties come over here to look at what we're doing, and they all are just really amazed that we have that kind of visibility on that park. This park is highly visible and will be highly accessible.
Yeah, that's two winning combinations right there. So where do you all need help right now as you're continuing this process?
Where do we meet? Where do we meet?
No, what needs do you have? What are next steps that you're trying to accomplish? Is it fundraising? Is it materials? I mean, what are the next steps that you guys are looking at?
Do you have your checkbook on you?
No, sir. My wife has the checkbook.
I love it. No, sir.
Jennifer can run right over there and pick your check up if you got it.
I'm sure she can.
Jennifer, you and I have the same mission. We have our hand out, and people love to see us coming.
Exactly. That's right.
Basically, we are supported by the city of Conroe, and we're also supported by Montgomery County.
Okay.
Montgomery County has funded us, as has the city. Montgomery County, of course, is the lead. The city of Conroe, though, has been helpful. And then we have contributions. We have donations. We've had one major fundraiser. We're looking at another. It takes dollars. I have no issues whatsoever in using appropriated tax dollars to help build this memorial. And I've had a few people say, well, you ought to do it on your own. Y'all shouldn't use tax dollars. The problem with that logic is this. First of all, tax dollars train first responders. Tax dollars train veterans and train men and women for military service. Tax dollar uses to send us into combat and into danger. Tax dollars even take care of us when we're sick and ill and come home lame or infirmed are sick. Tax dollars even help bury us. So tax dollars being used to honor the service of veterans and first responders, I have no issue with whatsoever. And so it's a good use of tax dollars. In fact, I was giving a speech down in the Woodlands, and a lady stood up and said, "I'm going to tell you something. That's the best use of my tax dollars yet, building your
May I add to what Judge said?
Yeah.
Please.
The other thing is that we have what's called the line, and so people can actually nominate a veteran, and it's living and someone who has served or currently serving, or someone who passed away in action, and they can submit this application so that their loved ones or themselves can be on this wall so that we can honor them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's
That
where people can get involved. They can do that.
Yeah, in other words, any veteran that served in the military service from the American Revolution to date, and that includes the National Guard, that includes all branches of the service. And we want to make sure that, you got your DD 214 or your active duty, and your name for a small nominal fee is put on what we refer to as the line. You hold in the line, it's a military term, the line.
Right.
And anyone that ever served, like your great-great-granddad, you don't have to live in Montgomery County. You don't have to live in Conroe.
That was going to be my question. Do they have to be a resident of Montgomery County?
Absolutely not. There is a section in this park. This is a veterans park and first responders park. So there are areas that will have accents.
Yeah.
There'll be an area for first responder memorial. There will be an area for the fallen just from Montgomery County, 168 men from World War I forward. And that's just an area. But the line is anybody. So if you have a relative or if you're in your service or you want to put their name on it, and you can certainly do it from any time in the service. At first, we were just doing Montgomery County, but so many people have moved in and said, "Hey, my granddaddy was in World War II, and I sure would like to put his name on there, but he doesn't even, he never was here."
Right.
I said, "Fine." We expanded it open to any veteran, any former veteran. We had somebody that's going to be American Revolution, but all they had was an entry in a Bible. We have one from World War I. It was just a picture of their great-great-granddaddy, but he was in a doughboy uniform.
Wow.
We screen it to make sure. We can't have Daffy Duck or Mickey Mouse on it.
Thank you for that.
Unless they served.
We're not trying to keep people off.
Right.
We want to get them. And so we work with each one. And so the fee's nominal, and any veteran you want to honor, you can do it that way.
So how does one go about getting that process started? Y'all have a website that you want to talk about and direct people to, both for fundraising as well as for this? Go ahead and fill us in on that.
Absolutely. People, if they'd like additional information, can go to our website, which is mcvetmemorialpark.org. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Well, of course, they can go old school and give us a call.
Wow, that is old school, Jennifer. Yeah. Wow, man.
Isn't that what we're doing now? And the phone number is 936-521-3668, which is also on our website and other social media platforms.
Excellent.
There's something that has to be said about this memorial. It's more than just names scratched on granite. First of all, it is an educational tool. There'll be historical events that will be noted there. When people come, they can see more about what has happened in history and about the sacrifices. It is a memorial, but it is a state-of-the-art educational memorial. What has happened in the past. See, a lot of people say we had the greatest generation from World War II. Well, I believe there's another great generation out there if they're educated to what happened in history. And that is what we're about. We're more than just a park and some park benches. We're about educating the public and what has happened and what has transpired. We're also interested in visitors. We've done a lot of work on that. We are joining with other parks and veterans memorials in making something called the Southeast Texas Tour of Honor.
Wow.
It begins with a fallen warrior memorial in North Harris County off Cutton Road. It moves up to the Woodlands, then over to Magnolia for their Veterans Memorial, over to Montgomery, over to Bryan College Station to their big Veterans Memorial, over to Huntsville to the Hearts Museum, and back to Conroe to our memorial. And so we're getting, and this is being going to be sent out across this state and country. We've already had people that can take it. We're breaking it down into a half-day tour, full day, or 2 days.
Wow.
And we're all joining together. And the Hearts Museum is a museum. We are not a museum. We're a memorial and an educational center, but we're not a museum. We will have some military artifacts in this memorial. We already have some people with military equipment that will be brought to the memorial. And so it's a combination. We want to attract people to Montgomery County and Conroe.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand this is a countywide effort. 13 different communities, from the Woodlands to Patton Village to Cut and Shoot to Panorama to Willis to Conroe to Oak Ridge, all passed resolutions of support for this memorial. All 13 incorporated cities, general law and home rule, support this park via resolution with not one vote against it. You have to kind of think, when's the last time Patton Village joined with Oak Ridge and Panorama and the Woodlands to support a memorial in Conroe?
Yeah.
That don't happen too often.
No, it doesn't.
When I was on pilgrimage, along with several commission members, to go to these people, said, Jim, they won't do it. They don't agree on anything, much less anything. And they all did, absolutely every one of them.
Love it. That's fantastic.
Well, we're glad that y'all were able to accomplish that. And again, thank you for coming on the radio show and talking to us about it and our listeners. I think a lot of people don't realize what y'all have going there. And again, visit their website, their Facebook page, their Instagram, and find out more about how you can support and visit this very unique part of our area.
Thanks for being a part of it, guys.
Thank you so much.
All
We
right.
appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Do we want to take a break or we just want to go in on stuff?
Take a quick break and then come back.
Okay. We'll be right back with Chamber Chat on Lone Star Community Radio.
You who like your partners, your gumbo, and your music salty, well, we're here to help with the music. Julian Shea here, host of Lone Star Country Nights Thursday, your weekly dose of roots and Americana and all the music that makes this part of the country special. We stir in Western swing, honky-tonk, Zydeco, Texas blues, outlaw country, and put a pinch of red dirt, and then we smoke it over a slow fire. Then listen to the results Thursday nights on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show, with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
And welcome back to Chamber Chat on Lone Star Community Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Courtney Galley with the Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce.
And Brian Bondi with the Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. And boy, that was an interesting segment.
It was really good. Yeah, really good. I wish we could have kept them on for a little bit longer, but it's only an hour show.
It's only an hour show, and we've got some chamber stuff we need to take care of and not a lot of time.
Yeah. But I wanted to say if you missed anything, you can check out all the platforms that Chamber Chat is on, like Facebook, YouTube, and all that good stuff if you want to find any the links to any of the stuff we talked about today.
Excellent. Yeah. So we're going to be doing our morning mingle digitally via Zoom in May.
Yep.
The second Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Scavenger hunt. I'm excited.
Scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
People are going to be all over their house trying to find
Yes.
something. You can go to our website and register for that, and we'll provide the access information for the Zoom meeting.
Yep.
And then the week after that, the third Thursday, will be Fun After 5 via Zoom. Once again, you can register for that as well.
And it'll be makeup junkie bags.
That's right.
I
Conroe's
have
own
it with my
sanitizer.
my sanitizer stuff. So
Sanitize for your protection.
yeah. So that'll be really, really great with Makeup Junkie hosting it and sponsoring it.
Yep. Thank you, MJ. We appreciate
Yes.
you guys, and especially what you've been doing during this pandemic.
Yeah.
Great
also
work.
Have, somewhere.
Didn't they turn around and start making masks?
They did.
Look
See,
at
I have
those. Those are awesome. Look at that. That's very cool. That looks good.
Cute and colorful. Yes.
And then coming up in June, on the 22nd of June, we're being very optimistic that we'll be able to have some in-person meetings by then. We have State Controller Glenn Hager will be our special guest at State of the State. That's a luncheon. It'll be at the Lone Star Convention Center. We'll start getting information out about that.
Yep.
And you've got a big event coming up at the end of July.
Yes. Our Athena Awards Luncheon will be July 30th, and we are pushing forward for it to be in person at Madera Estates. We have our nominations out there. So if you're looking to nominate somebody in the community, we have added an additional criteria this year that person needs to show some exemplary leadership during the COVID crisis. Someone that's in healthcare, that's in banking, that's a first responder, somebody who works on the lines of the grocery store, things like that. They have to show some kind of, like I said, exemplary leadership during that time. It's something we decided to do this year to kind of keep what we've been going through on the forefront and kind of keep the event on the forefront, but also to kind of pay tribute to those people who've really stepped up in our area. You have to be in the Conroe, Lake Conroe area. You don't have to be a member of the chamber. So those nominations are on our website, or you can contact me to send that over to y'all. And those are due June 12th. And what we'll do is we'll send all those nominations over to Athena, and they'll come back with our finalist and our recipient. And so we've got some good things planned for this event, and really hoping that we get back into the in-person part of it. So Athena Leadership Award Luncheon, July 30th.
Excellent.
Yes.
And for our listeners out there, we're going to do a bonus chamber chat this month.
Yes.
So we'll be back here on
the 20th.
20th of May.
Yes.
And we'll have some new guests. And we want to hear your stories. So ring us up at the chamber if you've got something that you want us to do a shout out for you, something that you're doing special.
Yes.
We appreciate our business community. We appreciate our members, and we thank you for your ongoing support.
Yes. And you can visit on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter. Ashley, if I forgot one, I'm sorry.
Ashley has trained you well.
And also on the website. Thank y'all for today, and we hope everybody stays healthy and safe out there, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Today's show was recorded and broadcasted live on irlonestar.com, Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and all rights and ownership are reserved to Lone Star Community Radio. For more information regarding this program and Lone Star Community Radio, visit us online at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, serving the community with local programming on TV, radio, and online. If you enjoyed today's program, please support us by sponsorship or starting your own show. Contact us today by phone or text at 936-666-1084 or email the station at lscrstudios@gmail.com.